Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of The Art of Gift Giving. In this episode, I will be discussing what the 5 love languages are and how you can leverage them to give thoughtful, meaningful gifts to your loved ones. Let's get into it. Firstly, let me introduce you, or reintroduce you, to the 5 love languages. There's a book by Gary Chapman called The 5 Love Languages, and although the book came out in 1992, I feel like the idea of the love languages really gained traction and popularity a few years ago. At least, that's when I was introduced to and seeing a lot of it, although I tend to be very behind on trends, so who honestly knows. The idea is that people each have their own love language, or ways in which they prefer for the important people in their life to let them know that they love and care about them. If you're curious what your love language is, there are quizzes online that you can take. If you're curious about what somebody else's love language is, you can always ask them to take the quiz and tell you their results so that you can come up with better gifts to show that you care. This is actually something I'm planning on doing with my own family and friends to help me get better at giving them gifts that mean more to them. So, what are the 5 love languages? The 5 love languages are as follows: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Now let me explain how you can make or buy thoughtful gifts for somebody with each of these love languages. Let's start with words of affirmation. People who have words of affirmation as their primary love language will appreciate being told how much they mean to you. They appreciate hearing things like, "You fill my life with so much joy," and "You're doing amazing," and "Thank you so much, you mean a lot to me." Now you might hear that and think, okay, but how do I get or make them a gift then? Well, here are some ideas to help you out. One thing that I've done for friends is make an affirmations jar. I decorated and filled a glass jar with several slips of paper that had different affirmations on them, and included instructions to pick one at the start of each day to inspire them, or to look at them whenever they're feeling down. Another thing you can do is express your love and appreciation for them with a special card. Bonus points if you make and decorate it all yourself. You can also buy things like affirmation cards or books for people with this love language. I personally really love writing poetry. Another way in which I've expressed my affection is through writing poems for my family and friends to tell them in a more elegant way just how much they mean to me and how incredible they are. Finally, you can also buy and continually renew a subscription to a newsletter, app, or something else that contains meaningful affirmations and will remind your loved one just how loved they are. Let's say that somebody's love language is acts of service. Acts of service is one of my top 2 love languages, so I feel I can really speak to this one. People who have acts of service as their primary love language really appreciate it when you go out of your way to do something special for them. As an example, say they come home from work and are exhausted, but they had agreed to do the dishes that night. It would mean the world to them for you to take on their responsibility for them that night to give them a break to show that you care. As another example, it would mean a lot to them if you were to surprise them by making breakfast for them, or packing their lunch for work or school for them just because you wanted to do something nice. So how do you give gifts that really speak to somebody with acts of service as their primary love language? Making their daily lives easier is huge. For example, buying and renewing a subscription to a meal delivery service to reduce the burden of cooking something from scratch every night. Something I love to make as a gift is coupons. I make coupons that say things like free at-home spa day or things like that and gift those to my loved ones. You can do something similar, but with things that say that you'll do the dishes for a week on whatever week your loved one chooses to use that coupon, or that you'll take care of groceries for a month. That sort of thing. The nice thing is that generally acts of service aren't expensive and some of them don't even cost money. What matters is the time and effort that you put into helping this person out. Since acts of service is one of my primary love languages, I'll share some things that are really meaningful to me when people do them. 1. I hate cleaning, especially the shower. I hate cleaning the shower. I don't do it very often because I hate it so much, and as a result, soap scum builds up, and then my resistance to doing the task just increases so much that it would take some obscene levels of motivation and an unhealthy amount of caffeine for me to tackle cleaning the shower. On a couple of occasions, one of my family members has stepped in and offered to clean the shower for me. It's so nice to have a clean space, a clean shower, and so that really meant a lot to me when they helped me out with it. As another example, sometimes other people that I live with need to borrow my car. Most of the time they use it to run errands, and it's really nice because when they do, they usually fill up the car for me so I don't have to worry about whether or not I have enough gas next time I need to drive somewhere. For me at least, it really is just small, thoughtful things that make my life easier that mean the world to me. Let's talk about the most obvious love language, receiving gifts. You might be thinking, why are you even going to talk about this one? This is so easy. All you have to do is get them stuff. And while yes, that's partly true, I still have a few ideas to contribute on this one. This love language is pretty self-explanatory. People with receiving gifts as their primary love language love receiving little tokens of your affection, like flowers or something small you picked up on your weekly grocery run just because you thought they might like it. You might think that this person would be super easy to give gifts to, but there are some things you should still keep in mind. Firstly, what are their interests? If there's a show that they really like, maybe you could get them merch from that show. If there's something they really like doing, like painting, you could buy them art supplies. Secondly, are there any things that they explicitly don't like? For example, maybe this person has too many t-shirts, and so they don't want you to buy that band tee that you saw that you thought they'd like. Instead, you can buy them socks or a hat with the band's logo on it. It still conveys the same thoughtfulness, but it also doesn't overwhelm them with another item that they already have too many of. Thirdly, can you make the gift practical? Yes, people who have receiving gifts as their love language will appreciate just about anything you get them. However, if it's also a practical gift, I think that makes it even better. Let's talk about how you can give a thoughtful gift to somebody who has quality time as their primary love language. The concept of quality time is pretty simple. It's uninterrupted time dedicated to you and your loved one doing whatever is most meaningful to you at that time. While this may make it sound impossible to find a gift for them, it's actually way easier than you might think. Quality time is my other primary love language, so I feel I can easily speak to this. When I'm spending time with somebody I love, the most important thing is that we're both fully present, enjoying what we're doing. That means no randomly checking phones in the middle of a conversation, unless it's urgent, of course, and talking while we do whatever activity we have planned. In terms of gifts, you can offer to take them shopping somewhere like a mall where you can walk around and talk. You can buy tickets or passes for something they'd enjoy doing, like axe throwing, ziplining, watching a movie, going bowling. The key is just that you spend meaningful time together. It doesn't really matter what the activity is, so long as you fully commit to it and are fully present together during it. Sometimes it can be as simple as just sharing a physical space with your loved one while you each get your tasks done. All that matters with quality time is that you're doing the thing together. Finally, let's talk about physical touch. People with this love language love hugs, kisses, back rubs, and other displays of physical affection. Again, it might seem difficult to find a gift for them, but it might be easier than you think. This is where I'm going to bring in the whole coupons thing again. If you have somebody in your life whose love language is physical touch, you can make coupons centered around massages, free hugs and kisses, foot scrubs, etc. If you're looking for something to buy them, booking them a massage, nail, or hair appointment might be something they'd appreciate. You can also buy them things that engage their senses, such as body scrubs, moisturizers, perfumes, bath bombs, you name it. Generally, if it seems like a self-care, spa day kind of gift, they'll probably like it. Soft stuffed animals, blankets, or anything that makes them feel cozy are also good ideas. Back scratchers and massagers of different kinds might also be something that they'd enjoy. Now, I'd like to make a point that even though most people have a single primary love language, I think most of us still appreciate gifts that may correlate with more with other love languages. That said, if you know what people's top love languages are, you can take those top ones into account when buying or making gifts. For example, if somebody's top 2 love languages are acts of service and physical touch, giving them a massage would mean a lot to them. Similarly, if they really like both quality time and words of affirmation, maybe you specifically make time for them and say various things to remind them that you care while you spend that time with them. Of course, this podcast only contains some of the ideas you can implement to make your gift giving more meaningful. If you all have ideas of love language-informed gifts you could give that I didn't discuss in this episode, please feel free to share them in the comments so we can all learn from each other. That is going to be all for this episode of The Art of Gift Giving. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something from it as well. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you all in the next episode. Cheers!